These Love is Blind Season 10 couples just got home and they need to get back on those planes, go back to Cabo and try again because they ain't gonna make it. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, it's Nate. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Love is Blind Season 10 episodes 7 through 9. So if you haven't seen them yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on episodes 7 through 9, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like and a hype before you go. Really quickly, before we get into it, me and I Be Chillin' are going live every Friday this season to do a live discussion of that week's episodes. And we are opening up the stage for you all to join the live and share your thoughts live as well. You don't have to be on camera. You can come in cam off, but just make sure you have audio, obviously, because we need to be able to hear you. And we would love to hear from you. So keep an eye on my community tab for times and all that. We're trying to keep it the same time, but just keep an eye on it just in case anything does change. I'll be making an announcement about this Friday's live stream pretty soon, so keep an eye on that. Secondly, as we always do, we're going to be watching the reunion together. Whenever they announce that the reunion is coming out, we'll be watching it on my Discord server. You can join, it's free. The link is in my description box. Well, looks like it's time to pack up this thing with Alex.
Did you vote for Trump?
I didn't vote, but I would have voted for Trump, absolutely.
You cop out.
Well, I wasn't here. I know it's a cop out. I'm absolutely conservative though, without a doubt, and I'm happy that he won.
Every bit of attractiveness is out of the window for me. Let's wrap this whole little storyline up. You're happy he won, but you spent half your time out the country not being here dealing with the consequences. Make it make sense. That's exactly why you're unhoused right now.
All your stuff is in Florida?
I mean, I don't have a ton. I mean, most of it's here. The rest of it is in a storage unit in Florida. Just being as flexible as possible, and letting the chips fall where they may and go from there.
And listen, before the conservatives find their way over here, I don't have a problem with you being conservative. What I have a problem with is 45's values. And if you're even paying a little bit of attention, your own party has issues with his values. So just saying, make your way on over to the right side of history. And right now, that's not the right side of the political party. So in his bio, Alex did mention that he was a nomad. But my thing is, I don't ever remember this coming up. I must have zoned out when him and Ashley were talking about his nomadism in the pause, because I don't remember it. And they're saying, no, we talked about this. We've talked about this. Girl, I don't know what I must have been snacking, and the crunching was distracting me when they talked about it, because I don't remember them talking about it. Or maybe we just didn't see it. What I'm saying is I never saw them have a conversation, so I don't know what their plan was for them outside of the pause as far as him not wanting to stay put. I didn't know that was ever a topic of conversation that came up. And that's why I'm thoroughly confused, because Emma is also sounding like she doesn't know what the hell they doing.
I had a very regimented, easy life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's because my parents.
And it doesn't sound like she's actually on board with moving anywhere, to be honest. And look, I don't want to hear anything about, oh, that's her husband, that's her man, she gonna move wherever he moved. No. This girl has a very solid career, and with the state of the economy and the state of the job market, she really needs to be trying to hold on to that. And it sounds like she's at a good company that respects her, that allows her to move up the ladder. It sounds like she's actually in a really good place. So I don't know what all this talk is about, trying to figure out how she could change jobs, or she need to find another company. No, girl, you need to stay right where the hell you are.
I'm gonna talk to my boss tomorrow. It's been we've been back for 5 minutes.
And I've gotten a job in that time period. That's kind of my point. It's one of those
okay. See if there's any different opportunities. If there's opportunities in those states, I can take those as well. I will see what I can do with my job and apply out to different companies. But I do love the company that I work for. And
look, he has it honest. His mom is a nomad as well.
I'm just very concerned of getting stuck in Cleveland.
Yeah, I know.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
I'm not trying to trap you in Cleveland.
Girl, you should be. And for real, my thing is, they claim that they've spoken about this, but they really spend all their time in the bed or the patio, as Alex said. So I really feel like they haven't spent too much time talking about it, and that's why she's saying that she knew. The way that she's behaving is like she's blindsided by it, if that makes sense. And so now that it's time to make these very real life decisions, y'all can't even come to an agreement. How was that not settled before y'all left the pods? And he's talking about Florida is a good place for them to move politically. Please do. Please put all of the far right conservatives in Florida. Put them in one place so I know exactly where I don't need to go. Matter of fact, I have no reason to go to Florida anyway. I don't care about Miami. I have beaches in LA. And I hear the clubs in Miami be a little racist. There's no reason for me to ever go to Florida. So if all of the Alex types want to move there, good. I'll never have to run into y'all. That'd be amazing for me. Where he started to lose me though was where he said Florida has great education for kids. I'm fully convinced that all the kids that got left behind are currently raising their kids in Florida. And he's wanting to talk about education. He don't even know how babies are made.
I'm also being aware of your period, realistically. I kind of expected you to tell me that.
To tell you what?
That it's kind of past. Like, I'm not gonna track it.
I'm not gonna get pregnant on my period.
I know.
Okay.
It's the time right after it is what I understood, but I'm not the smartest when it comes to it.
45 does like the poorly educated.
I feel like you think I'm trying to trap you in Cleveland and with a child. Like, I don't want to have a kid either right now.
Okay. I don't know what the tracking is at. I don't know how long.
Ovulation is usually like 2 weeks after my period.
Okay. I
will let you know
when
if
your
I
period is like ends. Like, and I'm happy to have a shared tracker if that makes you feel better.
I also feel like this came up during that season with Ramses where he was like, I don't want to have kids, but I don't want to use a condom. I don't want to have to sacrifice, you know, my feeling as a man. I don't want to have to sacrifice my feeling as a man when I'm having sex and have to use a condom. So you need to get on birth control and put hormones in your body. It's given that, like, you're so concerned about her getting pregnant that you don't want to have sex while she's on her period. The egg's already on the move, my boy. The egg's already on the move. The reason she is having a period is because she didn't get pregnant. That's kind of how that works. And so while the chances are never none, I need you to go back to like 6th grade. What did they call it? Like health class. Sit in on it again because you missed some stuff. And it's like there's an easy fix to that. If she's not on birth control, which it doesn't sound like she is if you're this concerned about it, then why don't you get on birth control? That's the problem. His mind is they don't use their noggins over on that side that often. And to Ashley, I just want to say, girl, it can't be that good.
Here, we haven't been intimate.
I feel like I've initiated it enough, especially in Cabo. Did I not come out of the bathroom in a certain way and just take you?
Because I said I was horny.
There are 50-11 penises in the world. Find another one. And I also think it's very interesting just how quickly the sexual attraction started to wear down once they got back into the real world. And Alex is probably thinking about Brittany. And now knowing what I know about Alex is actually interesting that he likes brown people. I'm actually thoroughly surprised by that. What I really think is happening here, he's having like an anticipatory stir crazy, if that makes sense. He might not be going stir crazy right now, but with the anticipation of the fact that he might not be leaving Cleveland for a while, he's starting to feel antsy because it's in his nature to move around. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think there are some people who are just built to be nomads. Some people just have that in their blood that they always want to be moving around. And like I said, he has it honest. And so he's starting to kind of push her a little bit and be like, girl, either ask your boss if you could move or what are we doing here? Because I already have a job. I don't think he does, but I already have a job lined up. I could be doing that right now and I'm here instead. And I think he's going to start resenting Ashley. He said he's okay if they end up staying in Ohio for a little bit longer, but he is going to start to resent her because he's going to start feeling like, girl, I could have been gone. And the only reason I'm here is because of you. Kind of like Devontae is treating Brittany a little bit because he felt like he could have been home, but he stayed for her, whatever. And so he's starting to take it out on her in all of these other ways. That coupled with the fact that she's simply not his type, we already know that. And so it makes it really easy to cut that attraction because they're not on vacation anymore. See, for a little bit, they were living in vacation mode. He was pretending he was in Miami. He saw a cute girl just for the weekend. Like, that's how he was treating it. Meanwhile, she's treating him like a fiance, and there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. And so really this whole thing about him still being friends with his ex, he saw his ex in September, got recruited on the show in October. It's now April. It's neither here nor there because y'all don't need to be together anyway. It doesn't matter if he's still friends with his ex because you about to be his ex.
You said you got the LinkedIn message about a month after in October?
Yeah.
Which would mean that you were seeing this girl in September, which is when you went to Austin?
No. So this girl in Austin was right after this girl in Cleveland. There was no overlap, and even if there was, we weren't together exclusively.
This man is flat out lying. He can't even get his own story straight, and he's trying to cover his ass. Well, there was no overlap, so it wasn't cheating. But even if there was overlap, we weren't exclusive, so it doesn't count as cheat. Sir, he covering his bases right now. Just know that. Yet again, I have a bone to pick with Netflix casting. Why are y'all recruiting people on LinkedIn?
A month later, roughly, I kind of got the LinkedIn message to kind of come onto this show.
On one hand, I'm like, okay, y'all want to find eligible people. You want to make sure they have good jobs. For the most part, I mean, people can't lie on LinkedIn, but for the most part, you can verify that this is where they work if they have a solid career path. I get like the idea behind it, but LinkedIn is supposed to be for professional. Like technically they are using it professionally, but if I got recruited on LinkedIn for a reality show, I'd be like, what the hell is going on here? Now, if it's Netflix, maybe you might say okay, but I don't know. I just feel like that's like going to a bar to find someone to fill a role that you're recruiting for at your corporation. Like the two things don't seemingly overlap. His mom also did not seem excited to talk to Ashley, or him for that matter.
Hi, I'm excited to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, okay?
And then when she came to meet them, she was like,
So good to meet you. Good to meet you. I've heard so much about you. A little about you.
and I was like, damn, only a little? So that means your son is not talking about her at all. And that's because he don't intend on being with her. I also literally burst out laughing when Alex's mom came to meet Ashley. And Ashley had on the largest turtleneck I have ever seen in my... It looked like it swallowed her neck up. I understand she was probably going for modest, conservative woman, you know... But girl, it was comically large. Why was your I didn't even know they was making turtlenecks with that much fabric. That's like half the sweater is in a turtleneck. Like, I don't know, it was a very strange sweater. Maybe that's what the wealthy are wearing. Who knows? We also meet Ashley's parents, and she looks just like her conservative daddy. I don't think that her dad likes Alex. I don't think that he thinks Alex is good enough for her. And I don't think that he thinks Alex is an honest man. He don't make enough money. Now, granted, I don't know how much money Alex has in the bank. I'm not watching his pockets. I don't know how much he had saved from when he played soccer or any of that, but I don't think it's enough to compare to what Ashley's daddy was providing. Ashley comes from a conservative white family. They probably got a whole different kind of money. They probably got some money wrapped up in politics.
He's impressive, smart. I think he answered the questions that I asked him very well. Almost too well, but I don't think honesty is his strength.
And Alex don't got no job. And he doesn't have a plan for a job. He's claiming that he has a job here, there, and everywhere like he's Sam I Am. Also, what was this sounds like COVID line?
He doesn't follow his own advice.
Don't follow your own advice. Oh my God.
Not as I do.
These rules are for thee, not for me kind of guy.
Sounds like COVID.
Yeah. This guy's playing.
That completely went over my head. I don't know what that was about. Oh my God, does Alex think that COVID was made up? Ooh, it's getting worse and worse. And this is mostly unrelated. But why are these people always so awkward in these shots? After they got off the phone with his mom, he was like, you want to have a seat? But they were already having a seat. And all they did was move a milli-inch away.
You want to have a seat?
Sure.
Sorry.
Right here?
Yeah.
They act like they was going to a whole different room. I don't know. It's very... I know that the camera crew was probably like, let's get you over here. But it just doesn't come off as natural. I don't know. Let's move on to Jess and Chris because this entire situation is wild. When I was initially watching them when they first got back from the honeymoon, I actually wrote down, this couple isn't really that interesting to me. And then I later attributed that to the fact that they're not that interesting because they don't have anything crazy going on. Their houses seem to be the two most put together houses. They are agreeing on the fact that they don't want kids right now or maybe ever. They really seem to be in line, and maybe that's why they didn't stand out to me. They just seemed to lack substance because they were just so, just normal couple. And then they start having this staged conversation that we've seen people on Love is Blind have time and time again, where someone is like, well, where were you last night? And it's like, we know that y'all already talked about this. You're only having this conversation again because you're doing it for the cameras because the cameras weren't there when you initially talked about it. So we know that this conversation has happened for a second time.
Where'd you go last night?
Where'd I go last night? Grandview.
Whatever. I get they want to have it on camera. So Chris went out with his friends maybe after work or something. I don't know. Regardless of the fact, he didn't call Jess and say, hey, I'm going out tonight. And by the way, I'm not coming back home tonight. He just sent her a quick text and basically let her know that information. Now, I'm on Jess's side. I think that I'm not coming home tonight requires a phone call. Especially when you're on a show that is this expedited and you only have a limited time with your fiance before y'all supposed to be walking down the aisle and saying I do. And if you're needing a 13-hour break from her already, that's not a good sign.
You said it would be great if we could have like a 13-hour break.
I never said 13 hours.
I wouldn't make that up.
I do get it though because I hate having people in my space. I genuinely enjoy being alone. But I'm also not on a show trying to get married in 6 weeks, so where's the sense of urgency? You're supposed to be spending as much time with her as possible so that you can make an informed decision. He's also not texting her back, and he claims that it's because he doesn't text anybody back, but it's like, we know that's not true. We know that's not true. If he wanted to, he would. And then, of course, we find out why. Because in this very moment, Chris decides to say, look, I've never been an honest man in my life, but I'm going to be honest today. Given that marriage is on the line here, I'm going to just come out and say it. I know that this is being filmed. I don't want to be portrayed as the villain, but I'm not attracted to you. I don't like you and I ain't gonna like you.
Like, just to be totally honest and like without sounding like a fucking dickhead, I don't know how to say it. Like in the normal world, like I date people who like fucking do like fucking CrossFit and shit. Mm-hmm. So like I'm trying to like, I don't know, somebody who like works out all the time and like has like a different type of, I don't know.
A different type of like body?
It's just like somebody who does fucking like Pilates every day or like someone who's like working out every day.
But since we already signed up and since we already doing it, we might as well just continue to go through the experiment. But just so you know, it ain't happening. Every single season, we are reassured that love is in fact not blind. I actually believe we had this conversation last season. There was a guy, I forget who the couple was, but he was used to slimmer women, and so he wasn't really attracted to her. And Chris should have taken a page out of that man's book, because the way that he did it was very respectful. You know, he did it in a very respectful way. Chris couldn't find the words, and it's like he still would have been okay in my eyes, because I think it is perfectly okay for you to be attracted to a certain type of people. You can love your thin pink Pilates princess. That's your prerogative. That's a lot of P's. But then don't sign up for Love is Blind. I don't care if you signed up. I don't care if you got recruited. Say no. Say, I know I have a very specific type. I shouldn't do this, because I know that if that type doesn't walk through that door during that reveal, it's going to be a no for me. If you know that about yourself, and if you're deciding to get married, you should be mature enough to know that about yourself. Don't come on this show. You guys are wasting people's time at this point. I'm over it. Have some damn common sense and some respect for yourself and some respect for the woman that you're going to end up with. You want a pink Pilates princess. Do you know where you find her? You find her at the gym. You find her at Whole Foods. You find her at Erewhon. The odds of you finding her in the pods without seeing her, slim to none. Unless you lead with looks, it's just the odds are so low and it's counterproductive. And then he kept going.
I was thinking about it, about like what it would be like if I was with that person too. Just thinking about it.
What person?
The number 2 person I had. Just thinking about it. Not about it. I'm just being honest, like my thoughts. I was like, what would that look like?
How in one breath can you say, yeah, let's continue the experiment, trust the process, and then in the next breath say, I have been thinking about my number 2. Okay, then you need to go see if you can make something shake with your number 2 then. Why are you trying to see this through just because you're in it? This is the same exact thing that I say in regards to divorce. When people want to say, oh, I don't want to get divorced because I want to see the marriage through. Why? If it's gonna be like this, if you're not gonna like the other person, if you're gonna resent them, why do you want to see it through? Y'all will both be happier, you just call it quits. And I know that it's not as black and white when you're talking about a marriage, because you have all this history together. Your finances are probably tied in together. You might have kids, so there's a lot more that goes into it. But that line of thinking is the same. Seeing something through just because, staying in a relationship just because what? We know that you cannot force attraction. If it's not there, it's not there. And he's trying to convince her that they can still go through the experiment. And she's like, my brother in Christ, why? Like, her bags are already packed. And listen, historically, I have been of the belief that you should go through the process. But I've had to bend my own rule as these seasons have gone on. I think that Love is Blind is designed for you to go through the entire process and either say yes or no at the altar. That's what I believe. And so I think that most couples should go through the process. However, if you're getting to the point that you know baseline you're not attracted to this person, you know that's not going to change. And so cut it sooner rather than later. And so Chris did the right thing. He just didn't do it in the right way. Now, Jess hears the message loud and clear. Her bag's damn near packed by the time he getting to the middle of this conversation. And he's like,
if she doesn't like the way I feel and she feels like she can't be with me because of the way I feel, then it's what it is.
And I don't think she's upset about the fact that you feel this way. She's upset about the way that you're presenting the information to her, which is also what I'm upset about. She's upset about you bringing up Bree. Why was Bree a part of this conversation at all? It's enough to know, okay, he's not attracted to me. He has not been into the sex that we've been having. It's enough to know that. Why would you then further dig it in and say, and on top of that, I've been thinking about Bree this whole time. I gotta be honest. That part didn't need to happen. You were doing fine. It was shaky delivery, but you were doing fine. You did the hard thing. You told her you weren't attracted. You could have just stopped there, but you decided to take the asshole route, and we'll get into the mixer in a bit. But I don't understand why he just didn't stop when he was ahead. I am tired of watching Emma and Mike try to one-up each other on cleanliness or tidiness or whatever it is they doing. It's like they're playing the cleanliness Olympics or something.
Shoes here, socks here.
I think we have both our quirks.
Yes, well,
Wait, did you also?
Of course, I'm sure I have many quirks.
No, okay, sure. One thing I actually noticed in Cabo is you don't close any doors.
He's still talking about her shoes being all over the place. She talking about how he don't like closing closet and cabinet doors. And then his reasoning for why he doesn't close the closet doors is because that's where he keeps his shirts.
Yeah, so the closet, the one closet, I mean, there's only one.
No, it was both of them, both sides. Right, we have our quirks.
Well, yeah, those are my shirts, and then those are my whatever.
What is happening? These two are exactly why I say people need to live together before they decide to get married, because otherwise you wouldn't be finding this out until after the marriage. Living with these two, you gonna trip over a shoe and fall right into a cabinet, Edmund style. Mike and Emma should have never left the pods. I know he was trying to make fetch happen with her, but he was never even her number one. Connor was. And now he's over here talking about, oh, I came back and, my two best friends made baby announcements and they're going to be having kids and I feel like I'm missing out. You knew that already. You knew that the kids thing may not happen with Emma, and then you pursued that anyway. Because you thought you were going to be able to convince her to have children. And one, you shouldn't be trying to convince anybody of having children. They should want to do that because it's life-changing. Two, it's kind of unethical to try to convince them. Like, I feel like it's kind of unethical. Like, what, you gonna try to do, trap her or something? Like, it's weird. And it's clear that children are not only important to Mike, but very important to his family.
Just be open-minded, okay? Because
but what happens if you just get married and all of a sudden, 6 months from now, she says, okay,
yes,
I don't want to have kids, and you're already married.
I understand.
No offense, honey.
And of course, you shouldn't only have kids because your parents want you to, but that's not the case. He's equally as excited about having kids as his parents are about having grandchildren from him. And Italians have really big families. That's kind of what they're known for. This situation with Emma just doesn't make sense on a very basic level. Mike is taking Love is Blind literally, and he is pretending that he can't see the fact that Emma doesn't want children. And Emma is selfish because she wants to be married so bad that she's willing to sacrifice either her happiness or Mike's happiness. Neither of y'all are in a good enough place to be in a relationship together. On top of the fact that Mike has divorce is not an option parents. A few of the parents this season have that mindset. And I really do understand the sentiment. I don't think any couple gets married thinking about divorce. But in my opinion, divorce is always an option. And I don't care what anybody says. I know some of y'all take that to death do us part very seriously. I don't think that you should live your life unhappy just because you said a few words in front of a few people. You get one life and you have to live it for yourself. That doesn't mean don't take your vows or marriage seriously, but that means you have to also take your own individual life seriously. And I love Emma's sister for saying everything that I was feeling.
I'm somebody who grew up my whole life wanting to be a mom, and I have 2 kids, and I wake up some days and I'm like, why did I, like, this is,
She said that.
Hard, you told them that. As somebody who wanted this and is currently living it and knows how hard it is, if somebody chooses to have kids simply because they're trying to make a partner happy, that's one of the most terrifying thoughts.
And what I really don't like hearing, and I really don't understand, is Emma's family saying that she was a hard no on the kids thing.
You were a hard no for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's why we're a little bit protective.
I think we were all pretty certain you would not have kids.
That leads me to believe that she's still a hard no. She's just pretending that she's not. I'm sure that had to be hard for Mike to hear too, because Emma has never told him that she's a hard no. She said, I'm unsure. That's very different. Her mom said she's a hard no. Her sister co-signed that. So she's clearly been very firm on no kids until all of a sudden she's not firm anymore. That doesn't just change, and it definitely doesn't just change in 2.5 weeks. I believe that Emma needs to be honest with herself so that she can then be honest with Mike. And it turns out Emma's parents didn't even know how much pain she was in because of her scars and being adopted and all of that. I'm not saying that your parents have to know everything about you, but clearly she has not spoken to anyone about this. And so the first time that she's having these conversations is happening on Love is Blind. Girl, go see that therapist. Yeah, go ahead and make that appointment. That needs to be the first place she goes as soon as she leaves this experiment single. Also, this is my first time ever hearing that if you have marinara sauce with meat, that makes it gravy.
Spaghetti sauce. I'm really nervous to cook that in front of him, but...
She said sauce, it's gravy, but... No, but there is, and sauce to us is marinara sauce.
Yeah.
So, and gravy is with meat.
I ain't never heard of that. Usually, like, for me, in my culture, gravy is a brown or a white sauce, regardless. I don't know of any red. Well, I guess you could have like a red gravy for meatloaf, but then that's more like tomato sauce. That's still not gravy. I don't know. I love hearing about how other cultures do food, so I love that little tidbit that we get from the Italians.
Are there any seasonings you want me to bring from the house?
I can't think about seasoning right now.
I bet you can. I bet you like your chicken seasoned with thoughts and prayers. I said in my last video that he's gonna start resenting her for the grandpa thing. And I think that she was starting to feel it because he said, oh, I have a lot going on at home. Okay, then go home. That's the thing about resentment. The person who is doing the resenting might not even realize that they're doing it. But it's going to start to come out in other ways, like, you don't want to spend time with me, you're not touching me, you're leaving the bed before I wake up. It's going to start coming out and the other person is going to start feeling it, whether you can actively pick up on it yourself or not. And that's why that moment when he went in to hug her, she was arms folded, very detached from the moment. Y'all are 2 weeks into this relationship relationship, and he's already making you cry over things that he said to you in ways that he's made you feel. Get out while you can, girl. Like, what are we doing? And keep in mind, this is Devontae, who said lack of communication is an ick for him. Or maybe that was Devo. Devo's the one that likes communication. Devontae don't seem to be very fond of it. As soon as Brittany said this,
it's also been kind of good that it hasn't been extremely easy, and like we have had like emotional times. Like I've seen a different side of you than the pods. You've seen a different side of me.
I was like, oh, this is doomed. I feel like there's always a couple that's like, oh, well, at least we've had an argument, so we know how we argue. And on one hand, I get it. Yeah, you want to know that you can have difficult conversations in a mature and efficient way. But the arguments that y'all are having are about the fact that he literally doesn't want to be around you. That's not a conflict that y'all are learning how to get through. That's just him not being attracted to you, girl. And I just don't know why they were sitting here lying to each other.
We've got good communication, which I appreciate. And
of course. And I appreciate your communication.
I feel like we have a good foundation now.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna help you with your patience. Yeah, because she's gonna be waiting all her life for you to want to touch her.
In Cabo, you know, when I did compliment like your bathing suit, like I was starting to like open up. I don't remember the exact comment, but it was just like, you haven't called me pretty. And then internally for me, I'm just like, okay, well now I don't want to.
But the thing is, if you wanted to, you would. If you wanted to, she wouldn't have to ask or bring it up. And then you wouldn't feel forced. See how that's circular? It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You already were not attracted. That's why you weren't touching her. That's why she feels that you're not attracted. And that's why she's asking for it. And now that she's asking for it, you're saying it feels like it is being forced. And this is why I can't be mad that Chris said what he said, because Devontae should be taking the same route. He should just flat out tell her, girl, you're not my type. Not only that, I'm actually not at all attracted to you, and it's not gonna grow. He should be saying that to her so that we can end this right here, right now. Instead, he's over here playing games and meeting her family. Put your big boy pants on, Devontae. I did love her dad though, although I think Devontae was a little nervous about this dap and hug situation. It was a little bit too of color for him. Her dad and Devontae have a private conversation, and in that conversation, her dad asked him,
you get to that altar, are there any reservations that would make you go,
I don't think so.
I was really hoping in that moment he would say, I've never dated a woman of color, so that her dad could look at him like he's crazy as hell and let him know that he is in fact of color himself. Then they did that thing where they pretended that the conversation went bad and Devontae stormed out. I bet he thought about not walking back in. I bet he was like, this is my moment, I can have freedom right now, but he came back in for whatever reason. Now, Devontae does say something very important.
My grandfather was a reverend. He had his own church.
Reverend is very black specific. Like if you've ever been to a black church, you know what my great grandfather was a reverend. It's a very specific type of person, and they're always black. Like reverend is given very much Church of Mount Zion, you know, Baptist. Like it's given very black. So I think it's interesting that he used the word reverend, and yet he seems like he doesn't know he's black. But y'all let me know. I don't know if white people have reverends or Asian people have reverends. Maybe y'all do. Moving on to Breezy and Connor. Breezy is such an unlikable person. Why is she policing the way that this man speaks?
We're both gonna give it all we fucking got.
Okay. Do you have to say fucking God?
Sorry.
Girl, he let you go off and have parts 1 through 20 with your ex, and you're worried about him saying fucking. Let's be serious for a second. Breezy expressed wanting a man to put her in her feminine energy, and Connor is not that. That's why she walking all over him and telling him which words he can say and which words he can't say. She's doing that because she knows she can. She's trying to little boy him, basically. She found out that he can't use a can opener.
Are you serious? You don't know how to use a can opener?
I feel like every single step of the way she's getting the ick. Maybe Breezy is Connor's karma, though. He should definitely be paying for his crimes against humanity.
Did he make his famous plain chicken?
Not yet.
Not yet.
What the hell is famous plain chicken? Yuck! I thought Connor's house was mostly fine, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. The keg, whatever. Y'all don't like to have fun? Like, I'm confused. But where I do agree with Breezy is the fact that that flimsy ass lock he had on his front door was a side gate latch. It's not a lock. That is a latch. Also, shout out to I Be Chillin'. He said that this moment was gonna be like some kind of fake dramatic thing, and it was. I was really hoping it's real though, because I think he should be kicking her out, but it was just her going to test how fake that lock is. And apparently his door frame ain't too sturdy either.
From the outside, you cannot get in.
I want to see how sturdy this is.
Oh shit!
Oh my God.
Amber talks about how she saw Emma, her daughter, not the Emma on this show, but her daughter's name is also Emma. And she was asking her about the ring.
So Emma immediately looked at my ring and she goes, what is that?
She's like, who gave that to you? And I was like, well, a boy gave it to me.
And my question is, why didn't your daughter know that you were going on Love is Blind before you went on Love is Blind? I understand that she's 7, but the way that she was saying that made it sound like she just sprung on her daughter that she's engaged. It didn't sound like her daughter knew anything about it. I think there was a way. I mean, I don't know. It's difficult. This is why people say people with kids shouldn't go on this show. You should have found an age appropriate way to explain to her that you might be coming back with her steppappy. And now she's like, Mommy, what's that ring? And you're just like, oh, I met a boy. Excuse me, girl. You left for like a week and you met a boy. What are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? And Amber's like, well, I'm allowed to be happy. Okay, but your daughter's life would be changing too. If you guys get married, your daughter's life is changing too. So what about your daughter's happiness? What about her care? I don't know. I think it's strange. Jordan does meet Emma's dad off cam and he says it goes well, but I don't know. She's still giving Jordan these friend zone hugs and kisses, and I just don't think that she's attracted to him. I also feel like the person who she's describing she's allowed to be with is not Jordan.
I'm like allowed to actually like be with somebody.
Yeah. Of course.
And
yeah, I would hope so.
yeah. Like, you know, again,
you should be happy.
Yeah.
Then we meet her brother, and he kind of looks like Jordan, and now I'm putting 2 and 2 together, and I'm like, oh, she don't like kissing him because it feels like she's kissing her brother. Maybe that's why she cringes when she kisses him. And I don't know why the camera people decided to zoom in on this toothbrush, but I never want to see that again. I just know he does not change the head of his toothbrush every 3 months like he's supposed to. Last but not least, we have Vic and Christine. Something is not right with the editing of this couple. I don't know which one of them got a case, but one of them got a case. And Vic says this.
She knows things about me that no one else knows about me.
And it's like, I bet she does. I bet she does. I just feel like the way that they're being presented on this show is very strange. They didn't go to Cabo. Okay, that explains why we didn't see them on the honeymoons. But then when they get back, we saw every other couple move into their apartment for the first time, except for them. We didn't get to see their first night at home. Why is that? Instead, they're over here being filmed looking at the shapes of trees.
What can you point out in what you see here?
I don't know, is that a cat?
That's Jill, yeah.
That's Jill.
Jill the cat.
So we got a man and a woman.
No,
Top hat and a pipe.
He's in deep thought.
They're playing pickleball. I don't feel like I've ever seen a couple be edited like this. Even the most boring, unproblematic couples, we got more context from them. And we were missing a whole lot of context. Then they're meeting Christine's mom, which Christine better watch out because it sounds like her mom wants her man.
I thought he was hot. Can I say that?
And Vic better watch out because it sounds like this family does silent auctions in their backyard. If you know, you know. They do have an important conversation about raising black children because obviously Christine's white as can be. Maybe they can adopt Devontae because he needs a redo. So yeah, Christine says she's concerned about being able to relate with her children because they're going to grow up with a black experience and she can't relate to that.
I don't know what the right word would be, but
yeah,
like that reminder that I'm not going to be able to understand or to relate 100% with my own kid with something is a big deal.
Even if she's married to a black man, she's still not going to know what it's like to get the black experience in life. Now, black people come in all shades, and mixed people can be brown skin, they could be light skin, they could be caramel, or they could be white passing. So it really is a roll of the dice what her children are gonna look like. Black people have the ability to be super dark or albino. Literally, we can come in any spectrum. Not many race, actually, I don't know any other race that can do that. I think that's very unique to black people. And so if her children are white passing, then the world's gonna treat them as white kids. But if a hint of that melanin pops through, then they're gonna go through the world as black children. And they need to be raised as such. And, you know, I say this is why white women struggle because I don't know what it is about them. I just think that traditionally, the type of black men who tend to date white women don't do it for the same reasons that black women date white men. Like if you picking up what I'm putting down. And so whereas black women who date white men tend to go in, not all, but most tend to go in with their blackness. They're solid on their blackness. They know they're black. They're proud of it. They love their skin. They go in with that foundation. And so they instill that into their children. A lot of black men, not all, but a lot of black men who date white women don't have that same pride in being black. And because of that, they don't instill that into their children. And so their children aren't getting it from the dad and they're not going to get it from the mom. And so they grow up like Devontae. That's why the stereotype exists. Like that's it. That is a perfect representation of how that happens. And so I understand the fear that she has of, damn, I'm not gonna know what life is like for my kids. And if she's actually open to learning and making sure that they know their black side, then that's a much better start. But there is a fear there because she knows that day to day black people are not always treated the nicest in certain spaces. So yeah, you should have a fear. You should be concerned about how this world is going to treat your black children, and you should want to make the world a better place because of that. Also, I saw on Christine's Instagram that she somewhat acknowledged the whole Cabo situation, but she still didn't say anything. She just said,
just so you guys know, everybody has to have a valid passport before even arriving to the pods. So if you do happen to get engaged and go on to the Mexico part of filming, you do have to have a valid passport. So it has nothing to do with the passport issue. It has nothing to do with criminal records or any other kind of charges.
Whatever, girl, because the reason that Netflix is giving is still not solid to me. Netflix didn't have the budget. Netflix didn't have the budget. Okay, let's briefly talk about this mixer. If it's one thing we know about Chris, is that man does not give a flying fuck.
I don't give a flying fuck. I don't give a flying fuck. Like, I don't give a flying fuck.
I've heard him say it. I don't give a flying fuck 4 times already.
Now, the girls had a whole lot to say about Chris before he got to the mixer. Apparently, once Jess left, he made a whole brand new Instagram, and I guess followed everyone from the cast, including Jess for some reason, bought a bunch of followers, and started posting stories of him at the strip club. Like, that was the sequence of events. Personally, I don't care that this man was at the strip club. He was single at the time. I don't care that he buys followers if that's what he want to do. I think it's strange. I think it's very bizarre. But if that's what he want to do, that's his business. He's not hurting anybody. But the goose definitely had him feeling loose at that pod mixer. He started giving Amber a speech about how she doesn't really know him, so she shouldn't be judging him, and Jordan is so amazing.
I know you probably fucking hate me.
A little bit, but...
Okay,
No,
listen. I just feel like you don't, like, I don't know me, like, as a person.
Here's the thing. Had he shown up confident, sober, went up to Breezy and said, look, I lied. When we were talking about the pool, I lied. I don't think that you and Connor look good together. I think I'm the man for you. I would have respected that more. But he showed up really insecure, and he does seem like he's spiraling because he got drunk, he's slurring his words. Like, he's saying the right things, but again, he's not saying them in the right way. And that sometimes he's not even saying the right things. Why was he talking to Jess's girlfriends about their sex life and how he wasn't attracted to her?
The sex and, like, everything, like, I could see it, like, growing.
Yeah.
And, like, I need someone who, like, that does, like, Pilates or, like,
Did
just
she
works
hide
out.
that from you in the pods?
No, but she said she danced for 15 years.
You don't think that's crossing the line, Chris? Again, you were totally valid in having a type. But where you start to lose me and where I can't defend you is when you start saying she was the worst sex of your life and all this stuff. Why are you telling Bree this stuff?
I need to read you a sexual attraction when we're naked together. And it's like, I feel like there's a thing, like, when you're, like, having sex with someone, it's like pheromones. And, like, it's like you're with together and, like, you love it with each other. And, like, it just... For me, I tried it multiple times and just wasn't there. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this for the rest of my life.
Amber is right. You're never pulling another hot doctor.
You think you're gonna get another hot doctor? I'm just saying.
Every word that came out of his mouth was wussa and wussa. Also, I was wondering about this. Y'all remind me, is this the first time that we've ever seen a broken up couple at that pod mixer? Because I feel like it is. And his behavior is just so bizarre because to me, when him and Bree were speaking at the pool, he was brushing her off. He was very much like, no, I'm happy, I'm good. And all of a sudden, he's not happy and good and he's smiling in Bree's face. And Bree's loving it. She's like, I ain't gonna say too much, but I'm just wondering what compelled him to kind of do a 180. I feel like maybe when they left Cabo, he got his phone back, he texted his friends a picture and they were like, no. Or if his family said something, like, I don't know what it is. But something pulled him out of his delusion and now he just acting a fool. I love that the girlies were hyping up Jess when she walked into the mixer. Just to let Chris know they ain't fucking with him.
Your body is so perfect.
Your body is
Also, apparently Priyanka and Alex already know each other, and they know each other from a whole different state, which is strange on top of that.
Priyanka was in a friend group of mine in Chicago. She's been in my friend group for a little while.
Maybe what is going on? And we know that Pri is his type, so I don't really know why he didn't shoot his shot in the pods. And I've seen some people say this. I'm starting to feel like Alex came here with intentions that were not pure. Like he just wanted the vacation or the screen time or something to promote his podcast, which I won't be doing. There is definitely more to this pod mixer. We have not seen everything. We haven't even seen Keya walk in. I don't know if she's going to be there. We haven't seen Tyler and Kevan talk to each other, so we're missing some stuff here. So I'm hoping we get more from all of the couples next episodes. I really can't even say I know what to expect from these next episodes, but we'll see what happens. I will see y'all on Friday for Me and I Be Chillin's live stream. Of course, next week I'll have my commentary up on the next episodes. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye. Is my camera crooked? Because low-key is giving... Can I say that? I'm gonna have to put that in the uncut version. Ooh, I'm ashy as hell, girl. If she's not on birth, they was living in La La Land. They were living on vacation. They were living in girl.